Welcome to Advocation X, episode number 24. Time for a Drumph newsworthy broadcast. Special thanks and hello to all you beautiful thinking people out there. Before we continue though, please hit the like button and subscribe for our growing content. Become a member and crush that bell while you're at it so you miss nothing going forward. Huge disclaimer, this channel is our opinion, but it is based on facts. Questions will be answered if you're a subscribed member of this channel. However, suggestions are welcome, including critical analysis. Topics to tackle here and now. Elizabeth Warren is dead. Hashtag DemExit. Dem disaster on the horizon. Why don't we unpack this for you right now? First topic. No, my good people, Elizabeth Warren has not died. However, in the wake of what she has not done and subsequently projected, she will be all but dead to the progressive movement. Her silence, in essence, is a vote for Joe Biden. If she were truly a progressive, there would be no hesitation becoming an ally of the only politician to forward progressive ideas throughout his entire career. Using the Bernie bro defense for not making the decision is nothing but a corporate establishment ploy to consolidate even more support behind Joe Biden. As I mentioned in an earlier video, when your own family sets up attacks against you and diminishes your credibility, the rest of the population will be more inclined to believe it. Since it isn't coming from the other side, wow. Even though each and every insinuation against Bernie Sanders was an outright lie or a misrepresentation of the facts, the sheeple, which is a good 85% of the population, bought the poisonous juice. And even though they were dying, continued to purchase more juice. I'm not blaming the people. They are who they are. They're definitely susceptible to propaganda and lies and misdirection. This is why the top 1% use these tools, because they know they work. If they were to be 100% honest about Bernie Sanders, what would they say? Well, he's the only one that will do everything in his power to make sure that you all get a fair shake. Well, now that's horrible to say about somebody. How about, well, he'll do everything in his power to make sure that you're making a living wage so that you can actually feed your family, and, you know, nobody should be working 40 hours a week and not being able to make ends meet. Wow, horrible thing to say about a guy. How about this? Bernie Sanders will do everything in his power to make sure that you have medical care at your fingertips so you're not scrambling to scrape your pennies together and go into bankruptcy because you had an illness that they overcharged you to get treatment. Moving on. Hashtag DemExit. I think it's a wonderful term. Be sure to share the hashtag DemExit. That's hashtag DemExit, one word. I believe that the progressive movement now has no other choice but to break from the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party has no real good history to fall back on. Throughout their history, they have basically been standard bearers for screwing the working class and poor of the country. Throughout their history, they have never truly championed the causes of those marked as the others. They have, for many cycles, given lip service to bringing up the plight of the others, meaning indigenous, blacks, Latinos, Asian, non-heterosexuals, and any other labeled as a minority cause. But look at their track record. Do your research. They only give slightly to each and every group, hoping to gain their support for each upcoming election. You can see clearly they have no intention to solve any of the real issues. None. It's just to placate you so that you'll vote for them again, hoping they'll give you another crumb. And those crumbs, when put together, don't even keep pace with inflationary costs for you and your family. But you keep on voting against your own interests. But that's your choice, of course. So let me qualify that hashtag. By no means do I suggest running away before the election is done. There are many factors that should be considered before making the total break. If by some stroke of luck, the railroading that the Democratic Party has done against Bernie Sanders presents them with a presidential election with Joe Biden that works, then you work and start building a coalition between the Democratic and Republican progressives that would give the movement its best chance to build that type of coalition that would be big enough to beat both parties. Once again, it is not quite as simple as that sounds, because there are many other factors that will play a significant role in the creating of a third party. But in my opinion, it's inevitable. It must be done. If the people are ever going to get a fair shake in North America and many other parts of the world, that country needs to be taken over by progressives. Progressives who care about each other and care about their neighbors and care about how everybody moves forward. My opinion, of course. It's based on the facts as I see and hear them, but still my opinion nonetheless. So many of us, observing this noxious procedural calamity unfold, believe that Joe Biden will not eke out a win over Donald Drumph. With the myriad of negatives he carries with him, please. He carries more baggage with him than a 1940s Hollywood starlet making a cross-Atlantic excursion on a ship. You remember the visuals? The woman arriving at the dock with a lift truck full of cases and luggage and treasure chests, and she'd have two people bringing just her luggage on board. That's basically what Joe Biden is carrying into the general election. Now, let me go into a little bit of detail on that one. From his touchy-feely escapades with minor female children, to his close to even molesting almost adult women who may or may not be married to his own associates. This guy is just all over women or little girls. Now, his motives, he's just being friendly Joe. He's Uncle Joe. Come on, there's nothing wrong with Uncle Joe resting his arm on the shoulder of a little 12-year-old girl with his hand hanging over areas where it looked uncomfortable. What can I say? But I'm sure it was totally innocent. However, it's ammunition that all the Republicans are going to use against him. Donald Trump doesn't have to even say a word. He can sit back and let all the punches come from everywhere around Joe, and then add a couple of little nicknames and things of his own, because that's basically all he can do anyway. But Joe is up against the wall. With just that is going to be a huge one, unless Donald brings it up, because Donald is a rapist. I mean, alleged rapist. I hope nobody was listening to that slip of the tongue. I don't want to be sued for slander or anything like that. But then, hold on, if he was going to sue me, he would have to release all those people from restraints in order to prove that he really is. Okay, anyways, so let's move past Donald Drumph. As long as he doesn't bring it up on his own, it's going to carry weight when all the other senators and House members and pundits are all hammering that point home and showing clips, like actual video clips and pictures of exactly what it looks like. It looks very, very uncomfortable. I can just tell you that. I don't know his motives, and I can't pretend to know them, but I can just say the looks are horrible, and it's huge ammunition against him. So, aside from that, we also have his feeble-minded attempts at staying on task when addressing crowds. And that's a very difficult thing for Joe Biden. He can only go so far before his brain starts to go off in directions that just make no sense at all. The stammering and the bumbling and the word salads. Hey, we know another guy just like that. Drumph. Trump, yeah. All through his campaigning. Word salads. Things that made absolutely no sense. Jumbled together in a semblance of incoherence. At best. That's where Joe Biden is going. And it's not going to get better for him. It's going to get worse. Whatever is affecting him mentally or cognitively, let me try to be as politically correct as I can be, is going to tank him in the general. Okay? So let's move on from that. There's more. How about his voting for the Iraq War and other wars that have caused massive havoc in the world and lost so many American lives and so many foreign lives for no reason or little reason or made up reasons? Things that were proved later to be absolutely wrong. And certain people were always on the right side of history, and they get no credit because the pundits and the establishment, democratic hierarchy, elite individuals decide that they will trash who they want and prop who they want, and that is just the way it's going to go. And you, the people, you will follow along and do as we say, because we're your only hope for salvation. Even though we know we've said that probably 30 times already, that we are your only hope for salvation, we're still working on it. Just give us another shot, and another shot, and another shot. Give them a shot this election, because you definitely don't want to have Drumph in there. But I can tell you, you're going back to more of the same. And if that's okay with you, enjoy. I think what Bernie was offering you was an elevated standard of living, a better way forward, healthcare for all. In my opinion, health plans don't mean anything when you have health care for all. They mean zero. If you want supplemental health coverage, so let's say instead of you, because you're rich, instead of you staying in the regular room with everybody else, you get a little nicer accommodation. You get a nicer bedpan. Maybe it has a little gold trim around it when you need to go, number 2. And instead of you just getting a regular washcloth, they have a portable bidet for you. So that could be covered in supplemental health coverage. But for everybody to have the right of health care, I can't see what frame of mind you have to be in to argue that that's not a great thing for everyone. I'm sure, no matter how rich you are, you have relatives that are not covered. They have good friends and colleagues that are not covered. How does that go for your quality of life when the people around you that you somewhat care about or greatly care about are suffering under the effects of this healthcare system that you have now? It's time to rethink and go for healthcare for all. Also, Joe Biden participated in that school to prison pipeline. A lot of his policies helped to put all these young, black, Latino, other type men in prison for exorbitant amounts of time. You can rip off the entire country for billions of dollars and not spend a day in jail. But if you go and you steal to feed your children, you will get 50 years in jail. If you, the people who are doing the voting, don't see that there's a two-tiered justice system, 3-tiered justice system. There's the elites and those that have. There's the poor whites that don't have. And then there are the others. So if you are not in this bracket up here, the elites, you're getting screwed. I'm sorry, that's blunt. That's plain and simple. You're getting screwed, and you're voting for it over and over and over. It's like you are all suffering Stockholm Syndrome. If you're unsure what that is, please just look it up. It's a complicated psychological issue that's been covered in many movies and other books and etc., etc. So that's my rant for today. So please leave your respectful comments. Don't forget to hit the like button. Subscribe for growing content. Become a member. Crush the bell. Don't miss another episode. And once again, folks, please never give up and never give in. But keep an open mind. Why? Because knowledge is power. Get up. Do your research. Regain your power. And don't ever give it up again. So thanks again for spending time here on our channel. We hope to see you next time.